Merry Christmas, y'all. Hey guys, today I was able to assemble the drive assemblies. That's the motor with the gears and all of that good stuff. And I assembled the valve body with the solenoids. So here's a picture of that. And I made a little video on adjusting the solenoid, and the way it's designed is that you'll see it in this video. Okay, here's something you should probably know. Your solenoid and valve body are in the gun like this. You shouldn't ever have to do this, but if you wanted to detune your gun or replace the valve seal, this is your valve body. Okay. And I just wanted to show you, it's a little bit different than adjusting the solenoid on a Droste, because you can't, it's a lot harder to see what's going on. I'd say it's a little more difficult. So if you look down in this hole, you can see the valve moving when you press on the back of the solenoid. So what you want to do is find where it makes contact. Okay, it's making contact there. And continue to screw it in until it bottoms out, and then just back off of it. So that's that. Let me figure out how to explain this. If I sound a little off, it's because I had to take a muscle relaxer. Bad back spasms. But anyway, you've got a solenoid in the hammer, and the hammer rides in a tube, and the tube is threaded on the outside. So that threads into this aluminum block that then threads into the valve body. Now, and that everything's all sealed up. However, it's not sealed up between the hammer and the housing of the solenoid, the threaded part that goes around it. Now, but everything else is enclosed there. So the valve itself is sealed on the other end. That's why we don't need a valve seal. But on the other end, on the back side of the valve, on the valve seat itself, the way it's designed is when the hammer pushes it in, there's a little gap around the pin, and at that point, when it's letting air out of the valve, you're getting some air, some high pressure air coming out of the valve seat around the pin. And because everything behind that is enclosed, you actually have air that goes back through the solenoid to cool it. And this is a really good thing, because there's no way to do that with a Droste. And especially when you're running these really high rates of fire, your solenoid will get pretty warm. So that's just another reason, or another improvement over the Superbird. And I'm about to show you guys a video, but I want to let you know something. This prototype doesn't run very well, and I'm about to show you why. Because when I first put it together, I put one of the old springs on the auger that has the smaller diameter It's made of a smaller diameter wire, and that one was one of the ones that I got heat treated. It worked great for a good while, but eventually somehow it got bent, and this happens. So that's why I moved to the larger diameter wire. All right, well, when I moved to the larger diameter wire on here, I just took a spring out of a Superbird and put it in here. Well, it didn't want to turn around. So come on over here and I'll show you what happened. We're also going to show you how to change this spring, because I found out that these springs will wear out. And I'm working on that, but in the meantime, I'm going to send out some extra springs with these. The way you tell if your spring is worn out, before I take this apart, I'm sorry guys, I'm all over the place, I know it. If you want to adjust your clutch, you just hold down on that and you can tighten or loosen this nut with your hand. So much easier than a Superbird. So this just comes, pull that forward a little bit, and our auger comes out. It's a good way to get BBs off of them too. And while we're in here, the BBs are offset in here to fit right up under where the BBs fall on it. And a way you can find out which end the BBs are offset in is just by putting a BB on it and running it over, so we can tell that they're on this side of it. So you want your spring with them on this side of it, where this goes in to the cog on the motor, like so. All right, where was I? Okay, so when I went to put one of the Superbird springs on here, the dimensions, I found that the dimensions inside here on the feed lips are a little bit different than they are on a Blackbird Hopper magazine. So this bend right here was sticking up a little bit, and it wasn't a problem in the Hopper magazine. And this bend, I make these, this bend took me a long time to figure out how to make, believe it or not. I know it just looks pretty simple, but it took a long time to figure out how to do that. And that allows it to go under there and clear it. But because the spring that I did put in here was raised up a little bit, it wouldn't pass in here. So you can see where I took out some material. Well, what happens with this gun now that I did that is occasionally a BB will jam in here between these feed lips, and sometimes they'll even fall out, but it still works. It just doesn't work that good. That's just kind of a disclaimer on this video I'm about to show you. Yeah, most of the time in testing, prototypes are meant to be destroyed, but I'm kind of in the same boat that you guys are in. I'm just waiting on my new receiver module for this one, and I can put that back together and it ought to be good as new. So if you start to get jams, I don't know if you heard that. Somebody's in trouble. If you start to get jams and you think it might be your spring, the way you can tell is, if the spring can't freely pass through the coils, it's time to swap that bugger out, because it seems like as soon as it can't pass through those coils, it's no good anymore. I am working on, I'm gonna have a bunch of these made up and get them heat treated, and hopefully we won't have to worry about that problem anymore. All right, guys, later.